Deshaun Watson took every single first-team snap today, and a rookie with a blistered throwing hand still walked onto the grass and made him look like an unplayable backup. The stat sheet from Day 12 of Cleveland Browns training camp is about to make the front office violently uncomfortable, because while one quarterback was coughing up turnovers and getting strip-sacked, the other was delivering flawless rhythm throws without a single mistake. Three major media voices just stepped up and publicly declared that this starting job is already settled on tape. Before we reveal the numbers that have executive suites in panic mode, I need to test your football instincts. If you believe the starting job should strictly go to whoever executes best on the field regardless of salary, type truth in the comments right now. But if you believe a $230 million guaranteed contract will force the front office to protect their veteran no matter how bad he looks, type contract down below. Let us see who truly understands how power and pressure operate in the modern league. Stay locked in, because what unfolded behind the scenes changes everything.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Depth charts on paper do not throw passes, and training camp hierarchy cannot disguise what happens when 22 players collide at full speed. On Day 12 of Cleveland Browns training camp, the coaching staff laid out a very clear, traditional structure. Deshaun Watson took every single first-team repetition with the primary offensive unit, while Shedeur Sanders was relegated to running exclusively with the second-string reserves. On paper, that setup tells the casual fan who the coaching staff currently views as the leader in the clubhouse. But the moment the whistle blew and Live 11 on 11 team periods began, the reality on the grass completely dismantled that official narrative. Sanders stepped onto the field running with backups and immediately turned the session into a clinic of operational efficiency. He came out firing on his very first series, delivering a quick access swing pass to his running back out of the backfield for an effortless chunk gain. On the very next snap, he stood tall in the pocket against edge pressure and hit Denzel Boston crossing over the middle of the field with crisp timing and pinpoint ball placement. Those were two surgical, on-schedule completions against a fast, aggressive defensive unit before Watson had even settled into his own rhythm. When Watson took his turn with the starting offensive line and primary wide receivers, the contrast was immediate and jarring. On his opening dropback, Watson held the ball, hitched in the pocket, and saw his pass batted down directly at the line of scrimmage. Moments later, during a scripted third-down simulation, he forced a throw into double coverage and threw his 9th interception in just 12 days of camp. Later in that exact same team period, the defense collapsed the pocket from the edge, resulting in a clean strip sack where the football hit the turf before Watson could even initiate his throwing motion. The exact same defender had been living in his backfield all afternoon, exposing slow eyes and late decision-making. What makes this statistical divide even more astonishing is the physical condition under which both quarterbacks operated. Sanders took the field with a heavy medical bandage wrapped around his throwing hand. Battling through a painful blister on the exact hand he relies on to grip and spin the football. Despite the injury and working behind a backup offensive line that gave up consistent interior pressure, Sanders completed 17 of 25 throws with 0 touchdowns, but more importantly, 0 interceptions and 0 turnover-worthy plays. He took what the defense gave him, checked the ball down when coverage was tight, and protected possession on every single snap. Watson, playing completely healthy with the best blockers and pass catchers on the roster, finished 20 for 29. Throwing 1 touchdown but offsetting it with an interception, a batted ball, and a lost fumble on the strip sack.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Dillon Gabriel closed out his limited work going 5 for 11 with an interception of his own, while Taylon Green did not receive a single rep. When an injured rookie running with reserves posts a completely clean sheet, while a fully healthy veteran with the starters turns the ball over twice in an hour, that is no longer a random statistical fluke. That is a documented pattern of execution versus stagnation over 12 consecutive practices. Here at Gridiron Ground, we break down the operational tape that mainstream networks are too afraid to touch. When you subscribe to Gridiron Ground, you are joining an inner circle of real football minds who see through the public relations spin and understand what actually happens between the white lines. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an unfiltered breakdown when the truth gets exposed. Because what happened immediately after this practice session ended proves that the people covering this team have officially reached their breaking point. When beat writers and national commentators start breaking away from safe, pre-approved talking points, it usually signals that the truth on the practice field has become impossible to disguise. For months, the broad consensus around Cleveland sports media was that Watson would receive an unlimited runway to reclaim his past form, protected by his experience, his standing with team leadership, and the sheer financial commitment tied to his name. But Day 12 marked the exact moment that protective shield completely shattered into pieces. 3 independent media voices, each known for measured reporting, delivered scorching assessments that echoed the exact same conclusion within hours of each other. One prominent analyst looked directly into the camera during an afternoon segment and stated that the head coach cannot look the players in that locker room in the eye if he insists on starting Watson over Sanders. His argument was direct and unsparing. When 45 other players on the roster can visibly see one quarterback consistently outperforming the other in daily competition, forcing the lesser performer onto the field damages coaching credibility. He noted that players do not care about contracts, they care about winning, and continuing to elevate Watson purely out of institutional obligation will alienate the very roster the front office is trying to lead. A second respected voice went even further, describing Watson as a clearly diminished player whose physical timing, pocket mobility, and processing speed no longer justify starting repetitions in modern offensive schemes. He argued that continuing to split meaningful first-team work simply delays the inevitable while actively sabotaging the offense preparation for the upcoming regular season. In his view, every single first-team rep handed to Watson is a wasted rep that should be going toward building Sanders' chemistry with the primary playmakers. The third commentary came from an insider who threw his hands up in visible frustration on live television, stating that he is entirely exhausted from pretending this remains a legitimate battle. In his words, the tape has already rendered its verdict. Sanders has thoroughly outplayed everyone in the room, and the fan base will simply not tolerate watching uninspired, turnover-prone football once the regular season arrives. He flat-out questioned whether anyone inside the team facility genuinely believes Watson gives them the best chance to compete, or if the entire organization is just engaging in an elaborate charade to save face. When 3 separate media entities independently arrive at the identical conclusion on the exact same afternoon, it reveals that the public relations narrative has completely decoupled from on-field reality. Reporters do not casually abandon established veterans unless the visual evidence leaves them no other choice. The outside perception has flipped from polite curiosity to active demand. The football world is no longer asking whether Sanders can handle NFL speed. They are openly demanding to know why the Browns' coaching staff is still pretending this competition is undecided. The media has stopped treating this as a speculative camp battle and has started covering it like an administrative delay of an obvious coronation, and the pressure on executive leadership is mounting by the minute. To truly understand why this quarterback controversy is moving at such a strained and cautious pace, you have to look past the playbook and examine the business ledger. This is not a standard battle between an aging journeyman on a one-year prove-it deal and a hungry rookie. This situation involves the single most polarizing, fully guaranteed financial commitment in the history of professional sports. When an organization restructures its entire salary cap architecture and mortgages years of premium draft capital to acquire a single player, every incompletion and turnover ceases to be just a football error. It transforms into a direct indictment of the executive leadership that signed off on the trade. Every single interception thrown during training camp creates ripples of panic throughout the front office suite. No general manager or team president wants to sit behind a microphone and explain to an owner why a player earning astronomical, fully guaranteed millions is sitting on the bench while a rookie drafted on day 3 commands the starting huddle. That reality presents an agonizing public relations challenge. Organizations naturally cling to their most expensive investments for as long as humanly possible, hoping against hope that a sudden spark will justify the sunk cost and validate their original vision. This financial hesitation explains why Watson continues to receive all the first-team snaps despite clear inconsistency.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
During team periods, the front office is caught in a high-stakes dilemma between fiscal pride and competitive survival. Admitting that Sanders gives the team a superior chance to win requires leadership to publicly acknowledge that their blockbuster trade and record-setting contract failed to deliver the expected return. That is a brutal pill for any executive to swallow, and front offices routinely delay that reckoning until the pressure becomes completely unbearable. Reports and rumors suggest that internal discussions are becoming increasingly tense as the preseason opener approaches. While the coaching staff is evaluated based on wins and losses, executive suites are evaluated on asset management and long-term organizational value. Benching a $250 million quarterback carries massive ramifications that extend into future salary cap seasons and national brand perception. But delaying the decision creates an even greater hazard, because an offense that cannot function efficiently in August will inevitably collapse in September. That is why authentic football analysis matters now more than ever. Here on Gridiron Ground, we analyze the financial politics and the boardroom decisions that dictate what you see on Sunday afternoons. Subscribing to Gridiron Ground guarantees that you stay ahead of the narrative curve with breakdowns that explore how money, contracts, and front office pressure shape the game. Make sure you are subscribed and locked in right now, because while the financial ledger might buy an incumbent quarterback extra time in practice, it cannot block pass rushers or fix broken timing on the field. Eventually, the grass settles all debts, and Cleveland is hurtling toward that moment faster than anyone in their executive suites wants to admit. Success for any young quarterback in professional football is rarely an isolated individual accomplishment. It is the direct result of operational structure, play calling clarity, and surrounding personnel. Months before this training camp began, Coach Prime laid out 3 universal pillars required for a quarterback to thrive at the highest level: an elite play caller who understands situational leverage, a physically stout offensive line that establishes a clean pocket, and dynamic playmakers on the perimeter who consistently win against man coverage. When you evaluate the environment the Browns have built for the current campaign, every single one of those foundational requirements has been checked. The installation of Todd Monken offensive system provides an aggressive, rhythm-based passing attack designed to distribute the ball quickly and punish defensive hesitation. Monken's scheme does not require a quarterback to play hero ball or constantly escape broken pockets. It demands pre-snap recognition, decisive footwork, and precise ball placement into intermediate zones. This structure aligns perfectly with the exact skill set Sanders demonstrated throughout his collegiate career and during camp practices. The surrounding arsenal in Cleveland has quietly developed into one of the most versatile personnel groupings in the conference. The wide receiver room features Denzel Boston operating as a physical contested catch target over the middle, paired with the explosive vertical speed of Isaiah Bond to stretch defensive shells deep. Harold Fannin Jr. presents an immediate mismatch at tight end, creating easy underneath access on option routes, while Jerry Jeudy provides elite route running separation on critical conversion downs. In the backfield, Quinshon Judkins offers a devastating dual-threat rushing and receiving option that forces linebackers to freeze on play-action concepts. The contrast in how the two quarterbacks utilize this ecosystem could not be more apparent. Watson has historically favored an off-structure, sandlot style of football that relies on holding the ball to create explosive plays outside the pocket. In Monken rhythm-heavy scheme, that tendency often leads to sacks, batted balls, and forced throws into closing throwing windows. When a quarterback holds the ball for more than 3 seconds in this offense, the entire timing of the progression breaks down, leaving receivers running into dead space and putting offensive tackles in impossible blocking situations. Sanders operates directly within the rhythm of the play, taking what the defense concedes and letting his playmakers generate yards after the catch. He understands how to read defensive leverage pre-snap, identify the single high safety rotation, and deliver the ball on the back foot of his drop. He does not fight the scheme, he accelerates it. When an offensive structure is engineered for rhythm and timing, a quarterback who operates with discipline will always make the entire offense look more explosive than one who fights the system. Sanders is proving daily that when the surrounding ecosystem is built correctly, execution trumps experience every single time. Operating as a starting quarterback in a passionate football market requires far more than arm talent and foot speed. It demands absolute emotional command and mental discipline. The modern professional landscape is filled with media scrutiny designed to create headlines out of offhand remarks. How a quarterback manages the podium is often a direct reflection of how he will manage high-leverage fourth-quarter drives when everything breaks down around him. Following the Day 12 practice session, Sanders stood at the podium and delivered a masterclass in professional poise. When asked about his personal routine and mental preparation, he revealed a level of discipline that explains his immediate comfort on the field. He outlined an uncompromising daily schedule where every single hour is meticulously planned, prioritizing recovery, playbook study, film breakdown, and structured rest. He described these routines not as burdens, but as necessary sacrifices required to deliver winning football to the organization and its fan base. In an era where young athletes are often distracted by off-field brands and social media noise, Sanders demonstrated a hyper-focused, professional approach that resonates deeply with veteran teammates. When reporters questioned him regarding locker room chemistry and how he establishes trust among seasoned veterans, his response cut straight through conventional sports cliches. He emphasized that genuine authenticity is the only currency that matters in a locker room. He noted that players instantly detect manufactured leadership, and the fastest way to earn respect is simply to work relentlessly.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Honestly, and execute assignments cleanly on the field. Most importantly, he addressed the quarterback room dynamic directly, stating that there is zero internal friction or petty hostility among the passers. He explained that playing time is an organizational decision made by the coaching staff, and his only responsibility is to put his best football on tape every single day. The defining moment of the press conference occurred near the end of the session, when a reporter attempted to trap him with a leading question, suggesting that Watson had shown dramatic improvement since the start of camp. The underlying intent was obvious: entice the rookie into either criticizing his veteran competitor or validating his own superiority. Sanders instantly recognized the narrative trap, smiled, addressed the tactic in real time, and completely diffused the question without offering a single usable soundbite for controversy. That level of media composure from a first-year player demonstrates a complete mastery over his personal narrative. A quarterback who refuses to get rattled by media manipulation is far less likely to panic when facing a zero blitz on 3rd and long. Sanders showed that his mind is just as sharp as his throwing arm, proving that he possesses the psychological maturity required to handle the immense pressure of leading a historic NFL franchise through adversity. Locker rooms are complex, hyperperceptive ecosystems where actions always speak louder than corporate messaging. Professional players understand the business side of the sport, but their primary allegiance is always to winning and personal safety on the field. Defensive players want an offense that sustains drives and protects field position. Offensive linemen want a quarterback who gets rid of the ball on time, so they are not forced to pass block for 5 seconds every snap. Receivers want a distributor who delivers the ball in stride, so they can create plays without taking unnecessary hits. While Sanders highlighted the mutual respect within the quarterback room, long-standing locker room sociology proves that manufactured quarterback competitions carry a strict expiration date. When players witness a stark performance disparity occurring day after day in practice, maintaining the illusion of an open battle eventually begins to erode team trust. If the defense consistently creates turnovers against the designated starter while struggling to contain the backup, whispers inevitably begin in the meeting rooms and dining halls. Defensive backs know which quarterback is easier to bait into mistakes, and offensive linemen know which quarterback makes their job harder by drifting out of clean pockets. Continuing to award first team reps purely based on salary cap obligations sends a dangerous cultural message to the rest of the roster. It signals that effort, execution, and performance are secondary to front office politics. That dynamic can quietly drain morale from a locker room that spent an entire offseason grinding through conditioning and physical practices. Players will run through a wall for a coaching staff that rewards production, but they will quickly disengage if they believe the lineup is being dictated by accounting ledgers rather than competitive merit. The coaching staff faces a delicate cultural balancing act. Protecting Watson's confidence by maintaining his first-team status might keep front office executives comfortable in the short term, but it risks alienating the 52 other players who are fighting for their own careers and incentives. When the tape clearly shows one player executing at a higher level, the only way to maintain complete credibility is to let performance dictate the depth chart. If Sanders continues to string together turnover-free practices while Watson struggles with ball security, the demand from within the locker room will become impossible to ignore. Players talk to their agents, they talk to their families, and they talk among themselves. A head coach who loses the belief of his locker room before the season even begins faces an uphill battle that no playbook can fix. The Browns' locker room is watching this situation intently, and how leadership handles the coming weeks will establish the cultural standard for the entire season. The ripple effects of this quarterback decision extend far beyond the Browns' practice facility, directly reshaping the tactical output of every offensive playmaker and altering the landscape for fantasy football managers worldwide. When an offense transitions from an erratic, off-structure passer to a disciplined, rhythm-based distributor, the statistical ceiling for every pass catcher shifts dramatically. A clean, turnover-free passing attack generates longer drives, increases overall snap counts, and creates significantly more red zone scoring opportunities. Under Sanders' operational command, wide receiver Denzel Boston emerges as an immediate breakout candidate in modern passing schemes. His ability to box out defenders on intermediate crossers and slant routes pairs seamlessly with Sanders' willingness to fire passes into tight coverage windows over the middle. Isaiah Bond's vertical speed transforms from a decoy into a primary weapon, as consistent pocket timing allows deep route concepts to develop without the quarterback taking premature sacks. Tight end Harold Fannin Jr. becomes an indispensable safety valve, functioning as an extension of the run game on early downs and providing a reliable third down conversion target. In the backfield, Quinshon Judkins receiving volume out of the flat increases exponentially, giving the offense a balanced attack that keeps defenses constantly off balance. All of these tactical puzzle pieces are about to face their first genuine live examination this Saturday, when the Browns square off against the Chicago Bears. Scripted training camp periods against your own defensive teammates can only reveal so much. Live preseason reps against an opposing defensive coordinator who is actively dialing up disguised coverages and unscripted pressure packages will strip away all remaining theory. The stadium lights, live tackling, and full-speed pass rush will provide an undeniable litmus test for both quarterbacks. Who starts the game, how the coaching staff divides the offensive possessions, and how each quarterback navigates live pocket pressure against the Bears will likely seal the fate of this competition. If Sanders steps onto that field against Chicago and continues to carve up defensive secondaries with the same precision he showed on day 12, the front office will have no choice but to adjust their plans. If you want the most thorough tactical breakdown and film review the second that game concludes, you need to make sure you are firmly locked into Gridiron Ground. Subscribe to Gridiron Ground right now and turn on all notifications, because we will be analyzing every single dropback, every read, and every throw to reveal exactly who won the battle when the live bullets started flying. The preseason opener is no longer just an exhibition. It has officially become the crucible that will decide the direction of this franchise. Cleveland football history is defined by an exhaustive, decades-long search for definitive quarterback play. For more than 20 years, this franchise has cycled through dozens of signal callers, each arrival accompanied by intense optimism, and each departure clouded by frustration and regret. The fan base has developed a well-earned skepticism toward preseason hype and training camp standouts. They have witnessed countless players flash temporary brilliance in shorts and helmets during August, only to see that promise evaporate the moment real regular season hits arrive and opposing defenses turn up the intensity. Yet, when you carefully examine the underlying data of the past 12 days, this situation feels fundamentally different from previous training camp illusions. This is not a case of a young player having one extraordinary afternoon against a vanilla defensive look. This is 12 consecutive practices of documented, repeatable efficiency. One quarterback is consistently protecting the football, operating on time, executing Monken's system, and demonstrating elite mental discipline. The other is turning the ball over at an alarming rate, taking sacks in scripted periods, and struggling to find consistent rhythm despite working with the primary offensive starters. Coaching staffs always have access to private film and nuanced assignment grades that outside observers never see. It is entirely possible that Kevin Stefanski and Todd Monken are grading specific pre-snap checks, protection adjustments, and footwork details that make the competition look closer on their internal dry erase boards than it appears on the practice field. Rumors and reports frequently surface suggesting that coaches value veteran experience in managing complex game day checks at the line of scrimmage. But even when accounting for every hidden variable, an offense cannot survive a quarterback who turns the ball over 9 times in 12 practices while managing a clean pocket. The decision facing the Cleveland Browns is ultimately a test of organizational identity and institutional courage. Choosing to start Shedeur Sanders sends a bold, definitive message to the team, the city, and the entire league that performance on the field is the only currency that matters in this building. It proves that production outweighs contracts, and that competitive excellence will never be compromised by financial pride. Dragging this battle out any further only risks derailing the preparation of the very player who can lead this offense into the future. The tape has spoken clearly, the media has drawn its line, and the locker room knows the truth. Cleveland stands at a pivotal crossroads, and the coming days will determine whether the franchise repeats the mistakes of its past or embraces a new era of accountability and execution. The stage is set, the evidence is overwhelming, and the time for hesitation is officially over. The evidence from Cleveland Browns training camp points in one undeniable direction. When an injured rookie completes 17 of 25 passes without a turnover, while the high-priced starter records his 9th interception and a strip sack, the debate ceases to be about potential and becomes entirely about production. Sanders has demonstrated the tactical precision, scheme compatibility, and emotional poise required to elevate Todd Monken offense, while Watson continues to struggle with rhythm and ball security. The front office can attempt to hide behind contract figures for only so long before live game action forces their hand. This Saturday against the Chicago Bears, every snap will carry franchise-altering weight. Now, the final verdict belongs to you. After breaking down the statistics, the media revolt, the salary dynamics, and the on-field execution, do you believe this quarterback competition is already finished? Or does Deshaun Watson still have a realistic path to keeping his job once the regular season arrives? Drop your complete, unfiltered thoughts in the comments below and let us debate it out together. Make sure to like this video, share it with fellow football fans, and subscribe to Gridiron Ground for complete coverage following the final whistle against Chicago. We will see you on the very next breakdown.